Hello, everybody. It's your old friends and Nerds of Us, and welcome to the second episode of the Best of All Worlds podcast. Captain Soul arriving once again to guide us through another episode of Star Trek on our eternal quest beyond the stars, Jerry, to find the best ever Star Trek episode.
Where to boldly go where no William Shatner has gone before.
No, definitely no podcast, no William Shatner, no one's ever gone this far. Partly because William Shatner is not even allowed near a Star Trek set at this point. He's like rattling at the gates, going, "Let me in! My screenplay is beautiful."
He really is. He really wants another run as Kirk.
He does. God bless him.
No one's ever. If anyone ever lets him do that, I like no, I'm not watching that shit.
No. Alex Kurtzman, we're looking at you. Do not let him in.
Yeah.
Watch out. But yes, like I said, we are obviously in the infancy of this podcast, as is often the case. Season one of anything with Star Trek is always going to be a slow burn. So we are continuing that tradition by staying with season one of Star Trek, and specifically the Next Generation, Jerry.
Yeah. I said, might as well just continue on in some sort of an order.
Yes.
So we're going for a couple of more episodes now in season one of Next Gen. Obviously, the very first season wasn't the greatest season of the Next Generation, but we have to start somewhere. So let's try and pick the best episodes from that season. Now, in fairness, the battle did get a good score.
I was surprised.
We actually gave it a good score.
Yeah. And like I said, we're kind of like, as I was saying in the last episode, we're not hitting the top tier yet because we want to kind of give ourselves a bit of a baseline in terms of like, okay, well, here's your kind of like your steady, consistently numbers before we do actually get into the real shit. And I can rest assured you, this episode is not the real shit, but it's still a bit of a fun one all the same. Because I want to talk about the Arsenal of Freedom tonight. Somewhat my pick this week. We haven't really taken ownership of either one. We're kind of like, we've mutually agreed on these picks for the next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
So I just find Arsenal Freedom a bit of fun, bit of guilt-free fun, all the same. But now that I have a critical eye set to it now, I think like, I now have to go and find a scoring to it now, which is more interesting. So
the scoring for this episode is going to be interesting.
It is. I'm sensing peaks and troughs already, but enough out of us. Jerry, are you ready to watch the episode with us?
I'm ready to go.
Fantastic. So again, lads, like I said, this podcast is half watch along, half review. So we are inviting you to watch along with us, and at least then see if you agree with us on our scoring. So, Jerry, if you're ready to go, all right then. So on 3, 2, 1, engage. I feel very powerful always saying that for some reason. I don't know what it is. It just makes you feel good, you know? Look at that green earth. Sweet and delicious algae.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I really do like the updated HD version of this. I think it's so much crisper.
Yeah.
Well, apart from this bit.
Yes. I couldn't help but notice that they have the fucking plastic panels on the back wall to stop the sheen off the studio lights.
Yeah.
It does make it look like two of them, like 2 or 3 of the panels have just like blue screens. Like Worf just keeps smashing them to fuck. It's like,
work! Fire torpedoes! Damn it, work!
Worf, that's a science station. What the fuck is a science? I bet you Frakes or Riker and Paul Rice had a fight at one point. That's how they gained a mutual respect.
Oh, absolutely.
Like 2 bullying
beat the shit out of
them. That's how they gain respect for each other. Through combat.
Stephanie did the Riker maneuver on him.
Oh, fucking sure. He straddled as many chairs as he can around them just to show dominance. That's a nice way of saying that the Drake is a kip.
Yeah. It's probably an old bird class ship. Ugh.
Apparently, there's no information on what the Drake is. Funny enough.
Oh.
It's literally an anomaly. They just refer to it as the USS Drake. There's no information on it, at least not in the main canon.
I think we could probably surmise that it's either a Miranda or a Excelsior class.
Yeah, potentially. All they say is a light cruiser. Like it's as simple as that. Like
it's a light cruiser, so light cruiser is probably a Miranda class.
Yeah, potentially.
Look at this weird looking. I always found this fella to be a weird looking fucker. Honest to God.
Yes.
Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS. You need a little something special, be it for one target or multiple targets. We got it.
I do love that whatever show or movie he's in, he always has an air of ill intent around him.
Mm-hmm. His hair is always weird as well.
Yes.
Totally secure. Remember, the early birds that hesitate get worms.
That's not how it works.
The arsenal of freedom. Perfection in highly advanced weaponry.
I do love his generic wrestling promo background, where like he can talk to the people at TV saying you should watch the match on the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Always remember who you're fighting. Always remember where it's on, when it's on. Yeah, yes. Go from there.
Join us at Minos, where the two combats are this Sunday at Minos Corva, Papa Echo 607. Go get him, Tiger. I don't think Riker does minimum compliments. He does big ass compliments.
Yeah. I always felt she didn't get enough of a run, El Tashiar.
She really didn't.
She really didn't.
No. Like, and in fairness, like it's very much a symptom of season one. Generally, is that like nobody gets a good run. Like you can't look at any of those characters in season one and say that they were written very well. And that was just a kind of a symptom of the production staff not knowing what they're doing either, you know.
Well, you look at season one. Obviously, we lost Tasha in season one, and then technically we lost Crusher in season one as well.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
you know. Oh, look at that shit!
Every time it just pops in and goes, "Hi, look at the sexy beast."
Yeah,
it is a sexy.
It is a sexy beast. It absolutely is.
But
best
I see your point,
ship in all of Star Trek. Absolutely the best.
No doubt. No doubt. But much of that point, like, I mean, like, even the likes of Yara and Crusher leaving in season one, Crusher, when you think about it, like, was kind of the most second developed character of that season. And literally her, like, backstory was that she had a massive hard-on for Picard, but couldn't because of her dead husband. It's like they really wanted to just plant that seed, and then that seed literally went nowhere.
Yeah. So obviously when she came back,
that pops up in this episode.
Yeah, like even when you look at like the following seasons, they kind of did touch on it a little bit, and then of course in the last All Good Things, you find that in the future they actually got married. You know,
they did, yeah, and divorced indeed. Beautiful.
What a fucking ship. The amount of times you see that exact shot throughout the 7 seasons is ridiculous.
It's like, nee. You'd almost see the strings as it passes by.
Yeah, I look at this set like, Jesus Christ.
State of it. It's just like, I automatically dock points when I see like a monochrome sky.
Yeah.
Like whenever a monocolor sky is problematic. It's the original series all over. Woohoo. Let's just follow, see where this smoke machine is leading us. We seem to have found Captain, we seem to have found where the fog machine was coming from. There was a children's birthday party just 2 blocks down the way. Yes, we have successfully located the bounty castle. This is a guest remnant of the Drake?
Even look at the phasers from season 1 is ridiculous.
Yeah. This is what happens when you magnify dental instruments. They become weapons of mass destruction.
Commander Riker, this is something to do. I'm monitoring flight energy buildup in your position. Not able to pinpoint the source.
I do love as well, like just for the stage directions. They had that you told them, here, Riker, can you walk through the most cumbersome part of the greens because we don't want to show you the clear path.
He just said it.
Like literally, there's a clear path all the way through here. Ah, there's the Riker.
There you go.
Start dominance. Tell that 4-pip bastard who's boss. Hang on a second, old friend. Haven't seen you in 20 years.
Sensors indicate low-level energy readings, but the only life signs are the awaiting.
You copy, number 1. Understood.
Something is not right here.
No.
You can tell by the way he's blinking.
You look strange, Paul. I would think
Sure.
you need
Yeah.
What's your purpose? Commander Davis, Lieutenant Yard. Sir, other than ourselves, I'm picking up no life signs here. Riker, you didn't answer. Your mother. It worked about Tell me about it. The Enterprise. No, the name of my ship is the Lollipop. I have no knowledge.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of Riker in this scene. No, it's a lollipop. I am 7, 100 seconds.
What's the honor that's on the Lollipop? Paul, I will only answer your questions if you answer mine. Why do you want to know so much about my ship? Friend. Old friend. My top speed is warp 3.
Warp 3 is shite. Fucking Jonathan Archer's laughing at that going, ha, pathetic.
Of course, my ship can drink. Where is it? Our survival depends on you. What's the armor that's on your ship? 10. I don't understand. 10 what? 6. Commander Riker, your answers make no sense. You haven't used my first name once, Paul. You remember it, don't you?
He doesn't.
Because you don't exist. You're a fake. You're an image of the original actor.
Fake rice.
Oh, there we go.
Ah, there we go. Here's the gimmick of the episode.
The image of Rice has been replaced by something which is hovering several meters away.
I always figured that this weapon was sort of Ferengi based, Ferengi inspired. Same
They
color scheme.
do kind of look kind of Ferengi-ish, don't they?
Yeah.
Boom.
There you go.
Report.
We can't answer you, Captain.
Commander Riker has just been encased in some kind of energy field.
I love these just ever so slightly shaking.
I was just about to say that. He's just
Like I don't think that was intentional either. That's the thing.
oh, yeah, I'd imagine he's actually trying to stay still.
Yeah.
Weapon, which for a time took the form of
This shot as well, you see in a lot of episodes as well, but generally it's beside an Excelsior class.
Yeah, I do like the adjacent angle. It's a lot nicer.
Situation report. Data, have you able to assess Commander Riker?
I do like this is the most like attention Picard has ever given an ensign, just for the script. It's like, hey, you, I know you by your name. Help.
That sooner or later, someone or something will be allowed to collect it.
Stand by, I'm coming down.
You, sir.
Yes, Dr. Crusher, this is the captain. He may transport the wrong bridge with support. Bridge. Nice. Doctor, it's my responsibility.
With great exception to your decision to be down.
You are the counselor.
All they've got on the bridge is a lieutenant to take over.
Yeah, like this.
Well, they've got.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yes, apparently you can find inside some sort of force field.
Like in the grand context of things, there's actually literally no reason for Picard to beam down here. If anything, he's just curious. It's like, oh, I want to beam down and see what's happening.
It isn't that what it is. Are you getting any night time?
He is alive. What appeared in the form of intelligence gathering device used during the Ursal World Wars.
Probably developed here.
It projects an image of someone the subject will trust. Get as much information as possible.
If it's not that,
I'm not gonna lie, it needs work. Like, I'm not insulting the guy's acting there because he actually plays it quite well. But the thing doesn't fucking blink for the entire sequence.
Whatever has interrupted the front pool. This will take some time, sir.
Boop, beep. Again, in the grand scheme of things, all Data's doing there is just calling the helpline. Yeah, hi. Yeah. We have a commander stuck in stasis. Technical support, please. Oh, there it is, floating around.
Bit of a shy shot, isn't it?
It's pretty bad, yeah.
Run, Pickard, run.
Action Picard.
Beautiful
Hey.
Picard. I'm pretty sure that stunt double did not have a bald cap on.
No. That is genuinely Picard's stunt double, by the way. He apparently this is his actual first proper appearance. The one that they have on a regular basis.
Now, at least the soil in this scene makes sense.
Yes.
This one is different.
This one is animated.
It's anticipated. Data, I need to. That's this on the shelf. I'll be back. Captain? Dr. Crusher? Enterprise, I'm up to.
I do love that Data took like the communicator not working to be personal. It's like, I have a malfunction. I am broken. Please consult your technical manual.
It's bad.
We're supposed to be moving her, Jean-Luc. Come on. Jesus.
He's awkward. It's like,
Enterprise, come in. Data, let it go.
What's wrong? Why aren't they working?
As soon as they realize that our communicators are not working, that's just behind us.
So he broke that stick in half and then did nothing.
No, it was literally for for leverage, but it's not really leverage. You would have had a bit more with the stick. I know.
He was like, fuck small talk.
It was like a polite little like.
It was like, yeah, great.
That's nice.
Yay.
Data, what happened to my hair? It's slightly tousled.
Vital signs returning to normal.
Capture units have been ready. Come on. Captain Dr. Crusher. There are leading life forms on the planet. All 5 members of the race.
Again, since we were slacking Worf off in the last episode, I am just constantly watching him waiting for. Hooray!
Yeah, get to shoot something. Woohoo!
Hey, you'd love to see it.
We can't be waiting with our shields in place.
Bases ready. Photon torpedo standing by. Locking on target.
Of course they are.
Yeah. Dude, they were like ready before Yar left the fucking ship. Like,
Something did a stir.
Emergency power to shields.
Optic is firing. No use. Just only again.
Our shields weakened. Whatever is using our shields can't stand up for much longer.
oh, here comes the bad guy of the episode. How many chief engineers did we have in season 1, by the way? I'm pretty sure we had 3 or 4, didn't we?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a few anyway.
Yeah. Logan is the one that no one liked.
Mm.
Argyle is the one that everyone liked. And then there was a really bitchy one from like The Naked Now that hated Wesley Crusher with a passion.
There he is.
Boo.
He's actually a more senior lieutenant than
He's
Geordi
actually
is.
the highest ranked member of the crew at the minute.
We'll lose the Enterprise. In view of the present crisis, I believe you should relinquish command.
Fuck you.
The captain did not anticipate the Enterprise would come under attack. If he had, would he have left the bridge to you? If he had, he wouldn't have left the ship.
Picking up an object to starboard, sir. Heading toward us.
Lock phasers on that thing and fire the moment it's in range.
Locking in. The object has vanished.
Uh-huh.
Mission lock lost.
Starboard shields weakened.
Critical. So,
You can't run this thing and win. We've got to break orbit now.
I like that how like they set up the stall about the character you don't like just from the haircut. Like literally, it's a haircut straight from the 1950s.
Hey, hold on a minute. His haircut's kind of like mine. Shush.
Yeah, but you're not a bad guy. You're not trying to take command of the Enterprise. You do it politely.
Oh, I wouldn't. I'd do it like the Ferengi. Get a couple of Klingon birds of prey and beam over.
Return to your duties. Now I'm in charge until relieved by Commander Riker or Captain Picard. A greater rank and experience. Not at all. In fact, just the opposite. I'm counting on it. Now I need you to get back down to engineering to get me every available scrap of emergency power you can. Or power the shields.
Just the disgust.
Yeah.
You can see why he didn't last long on the ship.
Not at all.
Fiverr says he died in the Battle of Wolf 359. Oh no, I can take on the Borg. I'm Chief Engineer Logan.
Dead.
He brought the snarky part of the Borg's personality through.
It was probably on the Melbourne, let's be honest.
Yeah, fair.
Data just like, fuck, you're over there. Look.
I fucking loved that. I was like, yeet.
Oh dear.
Boom.
The way Riker's looking at it, it's like, oh, I'm pressing this button so hard.
The weapon sort of precisely 12 minutes. We're not going to wait around. Let's find the rest of it.
I know one solution. Call Worf.
Fire torpedoes, Worf. But you'll die. Ah, it's fine.
Fuck it. He'll have fun, and that's what matters.
Tis but a scratch.
I don't see any. Hey. No. Come on, stay with me.
They always say doctors make the worst patients.
She's a bad doctor, so yeah.
Yeah. You could have told us earlier, like, you know, would have been nice.
I've heard that before.
Stay away. Come on. A lot of blood. What do I do next? Doctor.
The wound needs a clotting agent. What are they?
Oops.
Break off a piece of tape. Don't swallow it.
Very bitter.
I want some for your head.
Hooray for space rhubarb. That'll save us.
Color change. Good. Now, extract as much of it as you can onto the wound.
This works, by the way. It means that there's iodine in the roots. And iodine is a very good sterilizer. So yes, someone was paying attention in chemistry class.
I've always wondered, like, where the hell did they get all this information from?
Well, like again, some of it is like based on actual like on they what done is they've kind of fluffed up something they've heard of and then made it added the sci-fi bollocks to it.
Yeah.
The patient's going into shock. Elevate the lids and try to keep her warm.
Oh yeah, let them just make a fucking fire then, all right? I do know that I do know it's just a shot, but it does make it look like they're stunt legs.
You just happen to bring the blanket with you, did you?
In fairness, like for season 1, this is a lesser spotted Captain in Peril episode.
Mm.
Like poor Picard has got his uniform dirty. I mean, when does that ever happen?
Probably dirt under his nails.
Oh no. Not for our great philosopher of the sky.
All right.
Worf's like, come on, want to fire torpedoes?
Worf is loving it and everyone is shitting it. It's like,
If we could get lucky.
And now the power.
oh, I can see a mark on the floor. X mark just underneath.
Oh, I
Geordi.
see it, yeah.
Oh no.
Well, that's points away.
Oh, it's there again. Oh, thank you, HD remake.
This is Logan. Tell me something. Mr. Logan, report to the bridge.
My God, a more qualified officer is going to take the helm. Why are we all upset about this? Why do I have such these confused feelings from Logan, the asshole, taking command?
Mm-hmm.
It's in Solus. Set course 315 Mark 007. Where's that?
Shut the fuck up. That was my silence hand.
Talk to the face. I'll talk to the hand. I don't know what that fucking saying.
Talk to the hand because Geordi's blind.
That's wow.
It's true. Logan, leave him alone. Jesus Christ, man.
My responsibility. What about your responsibility to Captain Picard and the members of the Awakening? I have a responsibility to them as well. Mr. Logan, you are going to take command of the saucer section.
Face on him.
I was like, shit, that was a good idea.
Still won't be able to see that thing.
Ah, dude, come on.
Risk. Yes.
The fuck, dude? Seriously, so insensitive.
Two. Report to the battle bridge. I'll join you in a moment.
I want to believe this is Geordi's first time in the ready room. It's like, ooh, this is nice. No, we're not 11 here.
I really want one of these. Ooh, what fish is that?
Again, the reason I do kind of like this episode is that, like, you know, every now and then, like in the original series, when like shit is going down and Kirk and Spock are both out of action, it's Scotty that takes command.
Yeah.
And whenever Scotty takes command, that guy literally gets his balls up and goes, "Fight me like a fucking man." Geordi, this is kind of like they're kind of doing the same thing with Geordi here. He's like the kind of Scotty step in here.
Yeah.
It really shows a lot here. Like, this is like the first time they've actually given an auxiliary character some sort of like development, you know?
Mm.
Although again, I'll beg the question: would you rather have someone like Tasha take command? I would have been fascinated to see how that would go.
But see, her and Warford were like, fire torpedoes. Where? Just fire all the torpedoes.
Yeah, I suppose that's why it's Geordi, because like he'd be considered the more level-headed character.
Mm.
You should be proud of the way you have it. You've got this whole head, taken charge, and it's a very difficult decision.
Stand the fort. Battle bridge is manned and ready. However, deflectors have not yet returned to full efficiency. Let's get them there, Mr. Solus. Aye, sir. I'll join you shortly. The forge out.
I'm going to send these boys.
Solus is doing a fine job.
He isn't having the stress as well as you are.
This is why you don't have just ensigns on the bridge.
They're good officers.
Yes, but they lack battle experience. They're worried about making mistakes.
This must have been like the 1 week where they had reshuffled the crew and all like the grown-ups were at like fucking like on the starbase, like working on a different ship.
They draw strength from.
They had all the temps in for this 1 week and they got drawn out to fucking Minos. Hey, when that happens.
She'll come.
Not quite shown on screen, but however. Like, to their credit, they are actually trying to show that there's some chemistry now between the crew. Like, to their credit, like they are actively trying to write it in. So I have to give them that. I will always give them bonus points for sauce separation.
Yeah. Sauce separation is so cool.
It's brilliant. Like I know they never try to like overuse it, but there are like some situations in later seasons where you're just going, dude, separate. Like two guns better than one.
Typical course for Venus, warp 5. First set. Engage.
I'll always love that shot.
Yeah.
I know it is technically reused, but it's still a good one. What was that light behind you, John Luke? Where's that light coming from? Yes, you woke up too early and you lost a lot of blood. That's probably why. Yeah.
No. She helped to colonize our Beta 3. Yes.
Yes, she was haunted by a ghost in a couple of seasons' time.
There must be other things about you that I don't know.
Oh, hello. Uh-huh. She's desperate to tell him, God. He's desperate to just say, I love you. It's just a giant wall. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, creepy dude.
Oh, I love this guy.
Who's that?
It's the automated salesman who greeted us on the Enterprise. What you? By the Echo Papa 607, our proudest achievement, the ultimate in weapons system technology. Is that?
I don't know why it's. I've seen this guy in a couple of different things, and he always reminds me of Steve Shearer, who was like the butcher from Coronation Street. He has the exact same face, doesn't he?
Neutralize ground personnel, even destroy enemy space vessels.
The Enterprise. Shit, I left Geordi in charge.
I can talk terms, arrange for delivery, whatever you need.
It doesn't understand anything other than what it's peddling.
The 607 represents the state of the art in dynamic adaptive design. It learns from each encounter and improves them. So what went wrong? Well, it's created. Where are the people of Minos? Once unleashed, the unit is invincible. The perfect too perfect. So creation destroyed.
But that wouldn't. It's so terrible. That wouldn't happen to us, right, Jerry?
Last attack and constructed a new, stronger, deadlier weapon. In a moment, it will launch that weapon against the target.
You can imagine the guys behind Boston Dynamics are just looking at this going, yes, yes. Create more dog robots. I have to say, lovely weather for me now. It's not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah, it's very clear.
Beautiful weather, like, to their credit, like.
Yes, we're here.
I did make a sale.
We got contact Enterprise. The communicators are out. Yes, our communicators are out too.
Oh, I love that effect. Picture in picture. I'm an android.
Data is over 10 meters. 11.75, sir.
Data, you may be sturdy, but you're not indestructible.
I believe I can safely traverse the distance. Captain, Data's going to join you down there.
Izzy, fuck. Do a flip. Lovely narrowly missed Crusher there. It's like, whoops, I'll just step out of her.
I love the look he just gave him. It was just like,
I'm sorry,
not
Captain.
looking good.
I'm sorry, Captain. She loves you after all. I have to say, I have to give credit to Denise Crosby. She really does like put effort into her lines. She really acts well, like, she just never got enough from the writers at the time.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I have only one option left, and it's a long shot.
Crash the ship.
That auto-destruct sequence.
I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big fan of the battle bridge. Like, I think we may have mentioned it before, but all the obviously all the Enterprise ships, most ships can do a saucer separation, and I think it's just such a shame we never got to see it with like the Sovereign class, because like when you see the saucer separate on that, like it actually looks like a proper fucking battleship, like a Harrier jet. Like, such a shame we never saw it.
I'd have liked to see that now.
Another weapon has been launched, sir. This is a program schematic. You found it. Is it possible to readjust the targeting sequence? Absolutely. It wouldn't be much good without it.
I'd say I do like the map layout there. It's really like it looks like reminds me of asteroids or something like that,
Watch now.
or battle tanks.
For final projectile. The Echo Papa Series 607 is about to complete this phase of its mission. What good would that be?
Confusing related, something.
It would still get us. It would just take a little longer.
Might give one of us time to get out of range.
Out of range?
Look at us saying, these devices wiped out the entire planet. I don't think he has a range.
Then what does that mean? Right. That's what I thought.
Look for deeper cover.
I have to say they must be really durable plants to keep sparking up when they get shot.
Mm-hmm.
You got any ideas?
Why don't you just shut it off? Why not? It's a machine, isn't it?
Yes, leave it to the delirious patient to find the right answer.
What this beauty can do. We've seen enough. Does that mean you're going to buy it? Yes, we've seen enough. You made a sale. You won't be sorry. Good. Now end the demonstration. Done.
I do kind of like that as an ending to it. It's like you had to actually buy the units to finish the demonstration.
Yeah. Getting shot to shit.
I don't do shields.
5-300. Sir, that heading will take us further into the planet's atmosphere. That's correct. We're going to lose some maneuverability, so keep a firm hand on the helm. Aye, sir. Our attacker will follow us into the atmosphere. I'm counting on it. Leanne, scan for any air destruction or vortex. Cloak or no cloak. Spotted by its turbines. Worf, how fast can we get a pacer? Fast.
fucking love that like fast.
I'll temperature 2500 degrees.
Sir, responsive. Can you compensate us, sir, again?
Oh, 3000 degrees.
Maintain heading. We're on the loose number 40 plus
3300 degrees.
The 4 is now inoperative.
Fire!
Shoot that shit.
Weapons locked. Fire!
I do love that the phaser fired from somewhere where there is no phasers.
Yeah. That tends to happen a lot in Star Trek, unfortunately.
It does, yeah.
It happens a lot in Deep Space Nine. You're like, the phasers fire. I'm like, that's not a phaser array. What the fuck is that?
that's the rim of the ship. I mean, if you're putting the phaser there where the saucer reunites, that's pretty dangerous. Like,
Yeah.
As you were, Lieutenant. This is the ship is in one piece. I would appreciate the lieutenant to be in the same condition. Colonel, absolutely.
that's a real McCoy and Kirk ending, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you can see, still they still want to do those type of sign-offs to these episodes.
Mhm.
Yeah, look at him. He's so happy with himself. So there you go.
And there
that
we
was
go.
the Arsenal of Freedom. So Jerry, how did you like that episode?
It's okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's not a bad episode per se,
No.
but it's not exactly a good one either.
I like to think it's very it's a par season 1 episode. You know, it has its positives and it has its negatives, but like I said, I thought I'd pick it for like that kind of purpose as well. Because like I said, it's a nice little baseline for us. Very action oriented episode, which I think was kind of like was a nice little change to. It was a nice mix of what we had in season 1, like some action oriented, some weren't. And this is a nice action episode. But so yeah, much like the last episode we had, where we would have gushed over starships, there wasn't any starships to gush over in this one. As I was mentioning, as I was mentioning, there was a USS Drake, but unfortunately, there is literally no information on what it is. So, if it calls itself a light cruiser, but there is like as it were, not necessarily a light cruiser in the main canon. The closest thing you might have would be, say, the Saber class, which you might remember from some of the battles in DS9 and in First Contact. But the actual Drake,
Saber class would have been wouldn't have been available then. This is a lot earlier. So the only thing I could compare the Saber class to would be a Miranda class. So I'm assuming, or a Miranda variant, because obviously there's different variants. You have the standard Miranda with the normal kind of pod on top of it. Then you've got the type of Miranda. It was like was it the Saratoga? That
yes, Saratoga.
Cisco's ship as well was Saratoga. There's different variants of the Miranda class. So you'd say, okay, fair enough. It's probably one of those, because when it comes to the first couple of seasons in Next Gen, that's all you see. You see the Galaxy class, you see Excelsior class, you see Miranda class, and a couple of Oberts, and that's about it. You do eventually see an Ambassador and a Nebula, but that's not for another couple of seasons.
No.
So a light cruiser, if a light cruiser is the Saber, if a Saber is the light cruiser, then it's 99% sure that it's probably a Miranda class.
Yeah, you'd say so. Now, like I said, like if you were to throw memory beta into all of this, they do obviously flesh out the stuff like these kind of smaller ships themselves. So if you're to take that, then you would say that the USS Drake is what's called a Wumbundu class. And essentially it is literally a shrunken down Galaxy class. It's as simple as that. It's literally like, hence it's a light cruiser, because Galaxy is the heavier variety. So again, there's not much information on the actual class, but it is just literally a miniature Galaxy class starship. So it still has a saucer, smaller scale, much smaller neck, smaller body. I'll show the picture up on screen here, but it literally is just a miniature Galaxy class. Do you know, like the Nebula class ships? You know, the ones that likes of that have the big kind of phaser ray at the back. Think that without the phaser ray is kind of the way I'd see it.
Yeah.
So
what did you say the name of it? What was the class?
Wambundu.
Spell that for me.
WAMBUNDU.
WAN. What was it? Sorry.
BUNDU.
BUNDU. Because I just really want to see this now.
Yeah. Like, again, this comes from the Star Trek Encyclopedia itself, so you can kind of see it there. Like, it's
God, that's horrible,
isn't it? Yeah. So, like I say, if you were to believe them, if you were to read the kind of encyclopedia, that is what the Drake is meant to look like. And as far as I know, the Drake does get like various different classes as well, and they're all around the same thing. As you're saying, you mentioned it was like a Miranda class, Oberth class. So the Drake is kind of used for those type of ships throughout. So that's as far as it goes, and obviously went down on Minos and was never seen again. Basically, it's still, like, by all accounts, pronounced missing, including all hands. But yeah, so like I said, we don't have any ships to deal with in this episode. But again, we do have some guest stars to talk about. Again, working title of Guest Among the Stars for this segment. So this is where I challenge Jerry Soule on his knowledge of the guest stars here. So I've got 5 to tell you about today. Okay. So I'm gonna tweak this just a little bit in terms of what we're going to do. So I'm not going to get you to guess on every single guest star we have, but on ones that have definitely had multiple roles in Star Trek, I will test you to see, have you seen them before, right? Okay. So we'll do these in order then. So the ones that are one and dones, right? We'll start off with Vincent Schiavelli, who actually has been in quite a lot of things, to be fair. He is the peddler that we saw, our favorite here. He's been in quite a lot of films, to be said, to be fair to him. I recognize him from Ghost. He was in that movie as well. He was kind of the guy that tried to take the main character with him to hell. He was kind of the homeless guy that kind of like brought kind of a lot of the shadows with him. But he's been in a lot of projects with Christopher Lloyd, actually. He seems to pop up in a lot of cameos with them. It's kind of like I suppose, like, from that aspect, he's also in like a MacGyver episode. He kind of in the same kind of like bracket as a lot of guest stars from Star Trek. But I certainly know him from Ghost anyway. I presume he's in Ghost, or at least if there is someone very familiar to him. He's in Inferno as well, actually. So that's something for him as well. So that's him. Vito Ruginis is Lieutenant Logan. Again, you might think from the name he's a Latvian or Latvian individual, but no, he's actually from Wolves. He's from Wolverhampton. A very Wolverhampton name, has to be said. So unfortunately, here's a question for you. Remember, we were joking about the kind of chief engineers and how many of them were in season 1. Yes, there are all 3 of them. There was 3 engineers in total. So we mentioned Logan, who is obviously the annoying one. Argyle, which is kind of a fan favorite. A lot of people liked him.
Is that with the one with the beard?
It's the one with the beard, yeah. With the really kind of dry kind of lines. Mm-hmm. And the other chief engineer I was mentioning was McDougal. That was the kind of the narky one from the Naked Now and other episodes. So in theory, all 3 of them can be chief engineers. Basically, kind of like work in rotation. So if you wanted to know, incidentally, some other background information, his full name is Charles Logan. And according to, again, memory beta, he was actually in a comic book called Suspect, and one of DC's series. He was killed while serving aboard the Bradbury. Yes. So that was It was around about 20 years after this episode, or 5 years after this episode. So yeah, he could have actually died at Wolf 359, as much as we were joking about it. So let's see what we have. Oh yeah, here we go. So the real story about Charles Logan. He went on to be the chief engineer of the USS Bradbury in 2371. He was murdered by Tana Santu, a mentally disturbed woman from Zorta, who systematically eliminated all former Enterprise D chief engineers. So she was killing off Argyle, and she was killing off McDougal, and I presume had LaForge in her target as well. So there you go.
Evil bitch.
Yeah, how about that? Who would do that to poor innocent Geordi, eh?
Yeah.
So another one and done was George de la Pena, who took the role of Lieutenant Solus here. Again, not much to say about him, unfortunately. He has had a few like little cameos here or there, especially if you're a big fan of LA Law, you'll see him a couple of times in that. So unfortunately Solus does not have much to say in his one. His full name is Orpheus Solus, if you wanted to know. And again, not much else to say to him really. He was according to Memory Beta here, obviously manned the con on the main bridge for 2364. 2 years later, though, he manned the operation station during the Enterprise's mission to the planet Kirlos. That was one of the novels of TNG, and that's basically it. He was very much just part of the crew and nothing else. So nothing exciting with Solus, unfortunately. So now we get to the fun part. We get to the duplicates. So the first one I'm going to test you on, Jerry, is Marco Rodriguez. How many times has he appeared in Star Trek?
I'm going to say 3.
3. It's a good guess. It is in fact only 2.
Oh, okay.
So obviously he is Captain Paul Rice from this episode, and he's also technically in All Good Things for some archive footage as well. But do you not recognize him as one of the first ever Cardassians in Star Trek from the episode The Wounded?
Oh yeah.
He is Glyn Tell. He's the one that was caught snooping, and not Mark Alamo, not Gald the Cat, sacked him off basically and told him to stay in his quarters for and think about what you've done. So that was his role.
He could have been caught, you fucking idiot.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, in terms of the Paul Rice character, there's not much else to say really in terms of the kind of main canon, as it were. But yeah, it in terms of the kind of the Beta canon, not much else either. He was very much a throwaway character just for this episode, and unfortunately nothing else was fleshed out from the Paul Rice character. So such a pity. There seemed to be such a depth of character to go with, just from Frakes or Riker from his description alone. Risk taker, ballsy, gets shot down by a weapon outside Minos. You know, it's good for him. So another one who has
sorry, Jonathan, you cut out there for a good 20 seconds.
Oh, sorry about that. There's not much else to say really. He's just Paul Rice was a bit of a throwaway character, I'm afraid to say. So one last actor to tell you about, and it's Julia Nixon. How many times do you think she's appeared in Star Trek?
Julia Nixon. I'm assuming she was like the ensign, was it? It's the ensign?
She was Leanne Tzu, yes.
Okay. Because I know I've definitely seen her in it a few times, so I'm gonna go 4 with this one.
4, okay. Unfortunately, just a 2, Jerry, in this one. So again, she is Ensign Zhu in this episode, but I want to cast your mind forward to Deep Space Nine, and specifically the episode Paradise, which we may actually cover at some point in this podcast. Paradise was the episode with the really like god awful woman who like created her own colony and made sure no one else would escape. Remember, she put Cisco in a crate to suffer for her sins.
Yeah,
that fucking weapon, right? So she actually plays the character Cassandra in that episode. Remember, she's the one that like tries to basically get Cisco in bed for him to, you know, comply and enjoy himself Yeah, so that's her. So she had 2 roles. She is also one of the few Star Trek actors to also appear on Babylon 5.
Oh.
She was Catherine Sakai in that show. And she also starred in Around the World in 80 Days, the 1989 movie, and was also in Rambo First Blood as well.
Oh, good film.
Yes, indeed. And also, again, tangentially, was also married to David Soul, who was another former Star Trek actor as well. So there you go. She also was in Sequest as well. Sequest.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Do you remember that?
Yes, I tried to forget it, to be honest. So she's been around the houses in that sense, in terms of sci-fi. So there you go. That's all the interesting people from this episode. Mm-hmm. And now we get to the spicy part, Jerry. It's time to start rating this episode. So I do feel we're going to have an interesting kind of mix here in terms of how we feel about this episode. So
yeah, definitely a mix.
Yeah, like from the rewatch, it's definitely with a critical eye now. It's definitely worse than I had remembered. But like I said, I do like a good action episode just as a kind of like a little like background noise in a sense. So let's start off the plot. Obviously the plot involves a light cruiser disappearing around the planet, and it's up to our valiant heroes to try and find it. And they realize basically they're under fire from this supposed weapon that did destroy a civilization. So how will we rate the plots if we're to summarize it just as that?
Oh, it's not going to be high anyway.
No.
I think I'm going to go a 5.
I was thinking I was thinking 6 myself, so I think we'll go 5.5 on that.
Yeah, let's split the difference of that. Yeah, it's not great. It's okay. It's not great.
No, I don't think so either. Look, it's kind of something where like it could have been interesting, but they didn't really I felt they didn't really commit to it, if you know what I mean. They could have gone somewhere with it and they just didn't.
Yeah.
Bit of a shame. Okay, so next one then is the setting. So in this case, obviously, it would be Minos itself, the planet, and then it's kind of like its underground bunker where the peddler appears to basically sell you its shit. Mm-hmm. I'm going to mark it harshly on this one for Minos itself, like a very poor set, but again, that's kind of a curse of season 1 altogether. They were very TOS in its set design, you know, with the very blank skies and just scenery and smoke and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I actually did quite like the underground bunker as well. So it kind of balanced out for me. I was going to give it a 6 overall, on that.
I'll agree with you on that. We'll give it a 6.
6. Okay, grand.
Yeah.
Now writing again. I would have welcomed some, to be honest.
Was not good in this episode.
No.
Was not good.
No.
Even the dialogue, even the script, no. Just for me, it wasn't very good. I did like the fact that Geordi kind of stepped up a little bit and kind of showed his mettle and a bit of authority. But apart from that, like even the dialogue between Picard and Crusher was just It was very meh. It was.
I think I'll probably talk about this more in the consequences folder, but they definitely had a wasted opportunity between Picard and Crusher here. Like they were trying to tease it out. It was almost like this is like another step on whatever they were going with, and then obviously Crusher disappeared for season 2, and that kind of just like kiboshed whatever they were going to do. But definitely, I felt it was a kind of waste opportunity to get to establish that dynamic. You know, like let's be honest. If you're losing a battle to the naked now in terms of character development, you might want to rehash that script because that scene could do some work. So, yeah, I'm kind of willing to go 5 on it.
I was gonna go 4, but yeah, I'll go with you on that. I'll go with 5.
5, okay. So then acting again. I want to give points to Tasha Yar here. I think she actually played this one quite well. Like you could actually feel that like you're under pressure. I was a fan of Riker in this one as well.
Yeah, I'd give the points to Riker and Tasha, but I'd also give it to Geordi as well, and even Troy.
Yeah,
the little chat that they had in the ready room kind of gave him that little bit more confidence. Now everyone else, Worf was like, fire torpedoes. That's it's standard really at this stage. But the rest was a bit meh.
I did like Logan's pantomime villain, like, give me the command.
It was very like it's almost like Jafar, give me the lamp. Yes, give me command. It was like, and you're looking at Geordi, you're only sort of saying, just tell him to fuck off, Geordi. Fuck off.
Yeah, literally just
like Billy Connolly style. Fuck off. Just like that. But no, it's the good with the bad. I'm gonna go middle of the road again. I'm gonna go 5.
5. I'll go with 6 on that one.
Okay.
I was gonna go 6 myself. So we'll go 5/5 on that then. So I think this is probably the category where it ranks the highest would be action, because there was quite a lot of it in this one. Like, you had a lot of dynamic scenes, a lot of like stunts as well. I mean, I gave points for Crusher and Picard going down the hole, not in the metaphor, not in the euphemistic sense. I gave points for Yarg being yeeted by Data. Bonus point always for sauce separation. That'll always get a bonus point in our sense. And the actual battle scenes with the weapon against the Enterprise is actually really good, really cool, and a really good idea to actually like go into the atmosphere. So, like, out of all the categories in this is its strength for me, and especially for a season 1 episode. I can't recall any other season 1 episodes with more actual well planned, but well done action in that sense.
Season 1 now, there's feck out in season 1.
So in that sense, I'm willing to give it like good marks in this one. So maybe an 8 or a 9. What would you think, Jerry?
I won't go as far as 9. No, I couldn't go as far as 9. I'll go 8. That's 8. I'll go 8.
Grant. Okay, so next up then is the effects. Mixed bag on this one for me.
Very, very mixed bag. The kind of machine on the planet, whatever the probe or whatever the weapon, whatever you call it, not too bad, especially now that it's been updated with the HD.
It aged quite
well. It was okay. Now the effects in space when the Enterprise getting shot by one of these weapons was actually quite good. The color of the shield, the color of the shield impacts on the Enterprise. You have to take into account source of separation.
Yes.
You're always going to get plus points with that. So I'm definitely not going to mark it low. I'm going to go 7 to an 8. What do you think?
I was going to go 7 myself.
Okay, we'll go with 7 then. We'll go with 7.
Yeah, because I was gonna like I said, I gave him props for the battle scene, the actual flaring of when they do burn up in the atmosphere, and you can see the little fella like popping up as well. I liked how that was done, because you're thinking there's like a split second where you're thinking, oh, it's not working, and then you see it pop up. It's like, get him. So I like that. And the only thing I got points for was the Riker shield, where he's just pretend to be. I'm trying to sneeze. Try not to sneeze. So that's the only thing I would have got points on that one. And next one is score. This one I'm not too sure about, because I didn't really get much of a score on this one. There was like some little tense moments when they were going back to face the weapon, the battle bridge, but like a lot of it was kind of like redone, like panic music that they've used a lot in that season. So I didn't want to give him too much points in this one, really.
I thought the battle definitely had a more impressive score.
Yes.
So for this one, no, it was more rehashed stuff, and then the kind of generic next generation stuff that they use for most episodes. So I'm not going to go high on this. 6.
6, yeah, I'm happy with 6 on that. So next then is scene. So again, we have to try to kind of find a memorable scene from this episode. And truthfully, I don't really have one.
The only one I can think of would be the Troy Geordi chat in the ready room. That's the only one that kind of really springs to mind. That, or when Geordi kind of gets onto the battle bridge and is like, engage. Let's go back.
I did. That was kind of like that was good. I did like yeah. Yeah, like again, not nothing very iconic from this episode. Like,
No.
if actually the scene I would actually, I remember now which one I did want to point out was the little exchange between Rice and Riker, and when Riker realized he's talking to like basically like a projection essentially, he just starts taking the piss. It's like, who sent you here? Your mother. What's the name of your ship? The Lollipop. What's your armament? 10. I don't understand. 6. It's like, I just kind of found that funny, but like again, definitely one of those ones where it went on like maybe a minute too long, and like we got the joke there, and then like Riker should have just like pulled a phaser on him or something, but you know, but I at least like that one, that's probably my most like enjoyable scene from the episodes. But ultimately, like I have to give this a 6 because I don't think there's anything really that stood out in this episode.
Well, I'm gonna go 5.
Okay, so 5 out of 5 altogether then, yeah. Okay then, so next up then is character. So again, who we feel is the kind of the biggest winner from this episode, and I suppose again a bit of a mixed bag on this side. I think again I'll save some for consequences here, but I think the biggest winner was Geordi from this episode.
100%.
He was left in charge, and again, much like I mentioned, he was kind of the Scotty analog in this episode, in that he essentially got a chance to show his like command credentials, which, as we know in later editions of Star Trek, he does actually become a captain, a commander. You know, so he does have that skill set there. So I think in that sense, a very good episode from that aspect for Geordi. Because if I'm not mistaken, he got kind of fuck all in season 1, really.
He was only he was a helmsman, he was a lieutenant. He occasionally helped out in engineering, but from season 1 into season 2, he gets promotion to lieutenant commander and becomes chief engineer.
Yes,
you know, so he definitely kind of gets bigged up from the second season onwards. First season, he was basically jobbed out really in the first season.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. So I suppose from that point alone, like at least this episode kind of shows you how capable Geordi is, and even like as like was kind of explained by Troy and by Logan indirectly, still a very young officer, but still like a talent. There is a genuine talent there. Like, he is actually quite good at what he does. So from that aspect, I'm willing to give that an 8 because it's good enough to say you've given enough to the Geordi character that there is enough to go on to build him up even more. Like when he does get promoted, it seems justified.
I'll go with an 8 as well. I'll go with that. Geordi definitely a standout in this episode, and yeah, absolutely go with an 8.
Very good. And consequences then, right? This is the interesting one. I'm gonna have to nuke it on this one. Like again, a lot of some standalone episodes are fun by their own record. So I'm not knocking it on that aspect. I'm knocking it on what it could have been. Right. So the biggest, I think, wasted opportunity here was perhaps the Picard and Crusher dynamic.
Definitely could have developed it out, kind of fleshed it out even a tiny bit more to the type of relationship that we could see down the line. Obviously her husband and Picard were friends when they were in the academy. Then he died, and obviously Picard was there for Crusher, but nothing materialized, not for many years. But they definitely could have. We didn't really know this in season 1. If they'd have fleshed it out a bit more, than every subsequent encounter after that, you can, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And then it doesn't happen. But they didn't really give us any information.
Lack of a will they, won't they situation. No. And that was kind of the feel of this. The kind of the feel of this episode overall was like there are some episodes it's a case like will they, and this one was a won't they. Okay, and that's the thing. Like, again, you might argue that this is like another step on that little story arc, but from this side with the power of hindsight, they could have done so much more. And more specifically, like I don't know if it's a pet peeve of yours, Jerry, but I hate when an episode wraps up too quickly.
Yes.
In Star Trek, and I know that is just a symptom of like, oh shit, we've written too much of the episode, wrap it up now. And where they just like the last scene is like the two characters arrive back on the bridge. Where's Crusher? Where's the saucer? Nah, end the episode. It's fine. It's like, what the fuck, like.
Yeah, unfortunately, that does tend to happen in the Next Generation. It tends to wrap up really quickly, so we are going to see more of that, unfortunately. For this particular episode, I totally agree. It was just like, I want my ship back in one piece. Yes, Captain. Engage. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
Good night, everybody. Yeah.
No even kind of little chit chat about what had happened. About have they the machine that's on the planet, have they disabled it, or have they put a warning buoy in orbit, or what? Not anything. What? Give us a bit more information. There was nothing.
Yeah. Nothing about Minos, nothing about the Drake, nothing about Paul Rice. They were just all throwaway characters for this episode. And not even anything about the actual like society, about the Venosians, about anything that happens to them. No, they were just like stand-away episode. Let's us all. It's like Planet of the Week episode, really. So yeah, on that one, like I will have to mark it harshly. I was gonna go with a 2 or 3.5. Whatever your thoughts are on that, Jerry.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 3.
3
on that one. Yeah.
Okay then. So that leaves then the Arsenal of Freedom. Thankfully, not beating the battle this time out.
No.
It does stand at just under 60 out of 100, 59.5 altogether.
I would have. I'm actually quite surprised. I thought would have been lower than that.
Yeah, well, like I said, like again, it's one of those kind of like typecast episodes where it's action heavy, and like I suppose it was action heavy. The actual, and again tangentially, the effects were done quite well, and kind of like giving Geordi a bit of love kind of helped out as well. But certainly, it's one of those like definitely throwaway episodes that is like should be a fun watch, but then when you have a kind of a critical eye to it, you're definitely kind of seeing it in another light as well. So definitely one of those ones when you pay attention to it, the more you pay attention to it, the more you're thinking, oh, this I thought this was a good episode. Nope, I was wrong. Never mind.
Fortunately, there's going to be lots of those.
Especially in season 1, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah.
But there you
definitely
go. So yes, the Arsenal Freedom is in the books. And Jerry, I think it's fair to say then to get people excited for the next episode, what are we going to talk about next?
Next is, and I hope I have this actually right now.
I hope so.
Would it be a particular episode that we've actually, me and you have actually talked about a lot?
Perhaps.
Does it begin with a C?
It could.
No, it doesn't. No, because it's actually a different episode we talked about a lot. But the next one, actually, the reason it is exciting is because we lose someone in it.
Yes.
We lose someone in it. It is actually particular. I do like this episode, so this could rank fairly high for me. But we lose somebody that she definitely should have gotten a fairer run.
Yeah.
And that, of course, that episode is going to be Skin of Evil.
Indeed. Some people might say is one of the highlights of season 1 because of the fact that we do lose Tasha Yar, obviously for very behind the scenes reasons, as opposed to just like getting sick of the character. So that is our next stop on our whistles blow tour of season 1 of the Next Generation. And the other episode that Jerry was talking about, we will find out later on. I think again, if you look through season 1, you can hazard a guess which one he's on about.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it begins with a C.
It does begin with a C, and that narrows it down, doesn't it? With that then, so folks, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of the Best of All Worlds video podcast. We'll be back very, very soon with episode 3. Can the battle be beaten with the Skin of Evil? It might be. You never know. It's up there. Yeah. Could be. We'll see. So on that, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Until then, live long and prosper.
Bye-bye.
Not a very Vulcan response, Jerry.